Good morning, everyone. On behalf of NVIDIA, LFAI, and the ONNX Steering Committee, I'm delighted to welcome you to the 2023 edition of the Community Meetup. We have a packed agenda today, lots of things to cover, so let's get started. And first and foremost, we have Carrie Brisky. Carrie is the Vice President of AI Software Product Development at NVIDIA for a welcome note. So over to you, Carrie.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Yes, good morning. I'm so sorry I couldn't be there in person. Last minute travel for work has whisked me away. I'm honored that you asked me to welcome you all here today. As I'm traveling, it's made me realize two things. One, how important in-person collaboration is. And I realize that might seem ironic as I address you remotely. But for those of you in attendance at Endeavor, welcome to our work home. I really hope you have fruitful conversations, planning, architecting, networking. And secondly, I'm here at an enterprise conference, and as I talk to folks, I don't know why it always surprises me how little most enterprise applications know about optimizations necessary to run AI in real time and at scale. And I think that's why most of you are here today, to ensure that the world's most important AI workloads are transferable, optimizable, operational. And ONNX, has become the open ecosystem to facilitate this seamless interoperability across various deep learning frameworks and the deployment platforms. I was there in 2017. I think it was the NeurIPS conference though, when ONNX was launched. I don't think it was called the NeurIPS conference at that time, but it was so important at that time because we were supporting Theano, Caffe 2, CNTK, TensorFlow, MXNet, I think was just starting, and PyTorch is maybe just a baby. And while the frameworks have come and gone and some stayed, the mission remains the same because the frameworks are still evolving, new ones appear, there are still challenges with diverse operators, new networks, flavors of the same network, new architectures, and I mean both hardware and software. And I think the OG ONNX focus was on computer vision. And since then, we've seen the importance of so many other use cases like speech AI for ASR, TTS, recommendation systems, graph neural networks, NLP transformers, diffusion models. And while new ones appear, there's still great work, research, and productization across all of them. And it's really only been 5-6 years that ONNX has been here. And so it's a lifetime in AI. But for enterprise software development, that's relatively short. So anyway, at one point, we all had our own converters and intermediate representations. And so I don't think that AI deployment would be where it is without ONNX in this committee. And so the fact that you have all gathered here today is really a testament to our collective commitment to contribute and promote the growth and adoption of ONNX. I think this community recognizes the value it brings. So together, thank you. Thank you for being here. I think we're all from diverse backgrounds, researchers, developers, enthusiasts. We all share the wish and vision of deploying AI, driving standards, developing tools and libraries, and basically just fostering this inclusive environment that encourages the participation from all of you. So welcome. Please remain forward thinking, adapting to the evolving needs of all these AI workloads in the industry, and let's just stay at the forefront and honestly have a great day. I wish I was there.
Thank you very much, Carrie. All right, so I'm going to kick off with the day today with our steering committee update in a moment. All right, so I forgot to introduce myself. Hi, everyone. I'm Mayank. I work on the TensorRT team at NVIDIA, and I'll be starting off the steering committee update. I have a few other members of the steering committee here as well. So let's get started. So the agenda for this presentation here, I'll talk briefly about ONNX and the open governance model. We'll give an update on the state of ONNX right now and a glimpse of companies and toolchains supporting ONNX. We'll summarize ONNX requests and proposals that have come in for 2023. We'll talk about ONNX releases since the last community meetup, and then we'll talk a bit about how to get involved with the ONNX steering committee, the SIGs, and the working groups. Just a quick disclaimer, all presentations are being recorded and they will be made available publicly afterwards. So most of you here are quite familiar with ONNX, but for those of you who are new, I'll give a very quick update. So what is ONNX? ONNX is an open format for representing ML and DL models. It has two main pillars. It's the first one is a set of operators which form the building blocks of AI and deep learning models, and the second is a common file format that allows users to use their frameworks, toolchains, and runtimes of choice. That has two key benefits. For software developers, it allows them to use the framework of choice, and once they convert their models to this common format, they can use the backends of their choice, the hardware and software runtime backends of their choice. The advantage for hardware vendors is that it allows them to address a wide range of users across frameworks and without necessarily optimizing their runtimes for each framework. I'll talk about ONNX governance. So ONNX is a community project, and it is run by the community, developed by the community. The ONNX Steering Committee, which takes care of broader, high-level topics related to ONNX, is elected every year. There's no single company that controls ONNX. And most of the technical work underlying ONNX happens in the special interest groups and working groups. So right now we have 6 SIGs and working groups active: the Arch and Infra, operators, converters, model zone tutorials, pre-processing, and the new compilers SIG that was started recently. Again, all of these SIGs and working groups are led by members of the community. So a big thank you to community members for stepping up and leading these. And we'll have presentations and updates by each of the SIGs and working groups later in the day. So next, I'm going to hand it over to Prashant. He'll give a quick overview of the state of ONNX.
Thanks, Mayank. I'm Prasant. I work at Microsoft, and I'm on the ONNX Steering Committee, and my team works on ONNX Runtime, among other things. And so we've been doing these community meetups for a couple of years now, and every year it's always impressive to kind of see the stats and the growth of the community. So this is kind of the latest list of people who have actually said, please put my logo on the ONNX website. So it's and many more companies are involved in the community because there are lots of companies that I've talked with that are using ONNX and ONNX related projects who don't necessarily have their logo on here, but they're using it in many meaningful ways. And when you look at this kind of list of companies, you see a variety of different companies. There's hardware vendors making different accelerators. There's software. There's open source libraries like Hugging Face, et cetera. There's proprietary software. It's like a whole spectrum of different companies and projects that are making use of ONNX, and in all different sectors, both kind of tech and even government agencies are using ONNX. When we talk to them, we learn about what they use, and it's really exciting to see. In terms of just the pure numbers, we've shown a version of this slide in previous community meetups as well. So this time, we just looked at the numbers since last June. Last June was the last community meetup that was held. So just since in the last 12 months, we've seen some significant growth in usage. And the way we kind of measure it, we're open source, right? So it's hard, there's no telemetry really. So we have to look at some GitHub stats and downloads and things like that. So dependent repos, these are GitHub repos that are making use of ONNX. That has grown 130% in the last year. So that's great to see. And then monthly downloads is basically the PyPy downloads of our pip packages. That's grown almost 150% as well over the last year. So every month we're getting 2.8 million downloads of ONNX. Now you might wonder, like, who's downloading all these ONNX packages? Well, they're not necessarily just downloading ONNX directly, but also using tools and other libraries that in turn download ONNX. So that kind of shows you the amplification effect of ONNX. In terms of community contribution to ONNX, we have some metrics here: pull requests, forks, contributors. Those are also trending up. So great to see the community diving into ONNX and making it even better. So next, I'm going to hand it over to Saurabh to talk about our roadmap.
Thank you, Prashant. I'm Saurabh. I'm part of Intel. I work on ONNX and ONNX runtime team, and I'm here to talk about what we achieved in the last year or so. We had the latest releases 1.14. It had the latest offset. We got a lot of feedback on some of the operators that needed to be improved. We had bug fixes, we had enhancements. As ONNX has a philosophy of keeping a number of operators minimal, right? And that's something that all the hardware vendors like and all the framework integrators also like. So we are very careful on and cautious about what operators get added. This is pretty much a lot of work comes in from the operator sake. So these are some of the operators we added. One of the key things that ONNX is heading into is low precision. And FP8 has been making a lot of taking a lot of industry traction, and there are two approaches that are going on in the industry. One, and both of them are well represented here, and that makes it a very open ecosystem. There are two schools of thoughts around FP8, and so both of them are represented here, right? And another key thing that to note here is that Python 3.7 will be deprecated, because it's end of life by end of this month, around June 28th. So the next release that we had, the previous release before that we had was 13.0. And going on, we also added few operators there, fixed some of them. ONNX XFI, as you may have heard of in the past, it has been deprecated too. And we added support for Python 3.11 and prepped for the deprecation of 3.11. We also added support for building toolchain and support for Apple M1 and M2 ARM processors, which makes ONNX even more open. We already know it works for Linux and Windows and for x86 and other ARM variants. So now it has support for building on your MacBooks too. The next thing I want to talk about, and I'm very excited to talk about it, this was an effort led to harvest new proposals for 2023. This really brought in the community together. We had quite a global presence from a lot of companies that have been using ONNX. They came in and talked about what they like about ONNX, where they see the rough edges and how they want to enhance it. So, these 18 proposals are a testament of how ONNX is really flourishing, right? You can see a lot of them are around low precision. We had int4, FP8 show up. That's the general theme that you're seeing. Transformers, as you would know, the end-to-end pipeline, there are a lot of opportunities to create new operators there, so hardware vendors can optimize them, or software function enhancements can happen around them. We had some around web, how to make ONNX more relevant in the web ecosystem. So you would see some things around them. And then there, of course, there are these bunch of new operator supports, or sparsity support, or quantization support that you would see. And that's an area of enhancement for ONNX too. I think it leads the industry in that support here. And last but not the least, with the advent of these large language models, new tokenization techniques that needs to be coming in, and support for training operators or distributed training to begin with. So I'm quite inspired by these 18 new feature requests that came into in these roadmap proposals. So Alex and I were helped harvest these ideas, and we are navigating them, and with the help of the 6 that we have now. Okay, awesome. I think this is pretty much what we had. Like, if you're interested in collaborating, this is an ongoing effort. Later in the day, Prashant will be leading a conversation around ONNX 2.0 roadmap. If you have things that are not already presented here, or if there are ones that you want to collaborate on, these are some of the links that you can go into, and we'll be more than happy to help you navigate them. Pretty much, I think I covered anything. Any questions from anybody around the roadmap proposals? Cool. I think we're doing good on time. This is pretty much what I had here. Mike.
Thank you. Thanks, Saurabh and Prashant.